The single dad thought he'd start the new year alone, until his female CEO knocked at midnight. The last minute of the year arrived like a weight on his chest, pressing down as he sat on the cold floor of his small apartment, watching the second hand crawl toward midnight while his daughter slept nearby. Fireworks echoed outside, but inside there was only the quiet hum of an old refrigerator and the sound of a man trying not to break. He had imagined the new year would begin the same way the old one ended, with loneliness, unpaid bills, and silent prayers that never seemed to reach the ceiling. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that prove life can change in one unexpected moment, please like this video, comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Soul Tale. Your support keeps these stories alive. He was 37, a single father doing his best to hold together a life that cracked the day his wife passed away from a sudden illness. Since then, everything had become about survival. Mornings began before sunrise, nights ended with exhaustion, and every decision revolved around his 6-year-old daughter. He worked long hours at a logistics company, a place known for efficiency, pressure, and a powerful female CEO who seemed untouchable, distant, and far removed from the lives of people like him. To him, she was just a name on emails, a face in company newsletters, someone who lived in glass buildings while he lived between overdue notices. The year had taken its toll. Rent increased, his car broke down, childcare costs climbed higher than his paycheck. There were days he skipped meals so his daughter could eat properly. There were nights he sat awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering how long he could keep pretending everything was fine. At work, he pushed himself harder than anyone else, afraid that one mistake would cost him the only thing keeping them afloat. He never complained. He never asked for help. He believed dignity meant enduring quietly. On New Year's Eve, there was no celebration, no party, no special meal, just a small apartment, a sleeping child clutching a paper star she had made in school, and a father counting seconds with a heavy heart. He had told himself not to expect anything from the new year. Expectations had hurt him enough already. Then, at the exact moment the year changed, there was a knock at the door. It cut through the silence like a sharp breath. Confusion and fear mixed as he stood, careful not to wake his daughter. No one ever came to visit, especially not at midnight. The knock came again, steady and deliberate, as if whoever stood outside knew exactly why they were there. When he opened the door, the world tilted. Standing in the hallway was the female CEO of his company. She was composed, confident, and calm, dressed in a dark winter coat, her hair neatly styled, her expression serious yet strangely human. This was not the woman from magazine covers or corporate stages. This was someone real, standing at the door of a struggling single father's home as fireworks exploded in the distance. Earlier that year, a crisis had shaken the company. A system failure threatened to delay shipments worth millions. While others panicked or shifted blame, the single dad stayed through the night, fixing what he could, taking responsibility when things went wrong, protecting coworkers who were too afraid to speak. He never knew someone had noticed. He never imagined that integrity, shown in silence, could travel so far upward. What he didn't know was that the CEO had been questioning her own success. Surrounded by numbers, praise, and power, she felt increasingly disconnected from the people who made the company run. She began reviewing reports personally, searching for something real. That was when she found his name, his actions, and eventually his story. A widower, a father, a man holding his life together with effort no spreadsheet could measure. Instead of attending a high-profile celebration, she made a decision that surprised even herself. She chose to meet reality where it lived. Inside the apartment, the contrast was impossible to ignore. Modest furniture, a nearly empty fridge, a child sleeping peacefully in the next room. The CEO saw not failure but resilience carved into everyday life. She saw a man who showed up every day despite grief, exhaustion, and fear. In that moment, leadership took on a different meaning. The visit was not about charity, it was about recognition. As the days passed, change arrived quietly but steadily. The single dad was offered a role that valued his responsibility, judgment, and loyalty. His schedule became humane. His income became stable. For the first time in years, he could plan beyond the end of the month. He could take his daughter to school. He could cook dinner without checking his bank balance first. He could sleep without panic tightening his chest. More importantly, he felt seen. His confidence grew not because of money but because someone believed in his worth. His daughter noticed the change before anyone else. She smiled more. She laughed louder. The apartment felt warmer, not because anything luxurious appeared, but because hope had moved in. The CEO changed too. That midnight knock reshaped how she led. Policies shifted. Empathy became part of decision-making. People were no longer invisible lines on reports. One visit, one choice created ripples across an entire organization. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can arrive when you least expect it, please take a moment now to like this video, share it, and stay connected with Soul Tale. Your engagement helps these stories reach people standing at their own midnight moments. As the year unfolded, the single dad no longer feared the future. He understood that strength didn't mean suffering alone, and dignity didn't mean silence. Sometimes, life changes not when you shout for help, but when someone chooses to listen. Before this story ends, we have one special request for you. Please comment below and tell us this. Have you ever experienced a moment when hope arrived unexpectedly? Because sometimes, when the year feels empty and the world feels asleep, one knock at the door can remind you that you were never truly alone.